Hi, I'm Jamie, and today I will be introducing Susan from the First Doctor's era.
Two of my school t-shirts. What are you doing here?
Susan is a companion from 1963 to 1964, and she's most notably known for being the first companion of the Doctor ever. And she's also his granddaughter. Susan appears in 10 stories and 51 episodes, not counting her special appearances. So she starts off in season 1, and her first episode is An Unearthly Child, which has 4 episodes total. After that, we're on to the Daleks, which has 7 episodes total. And then we're on to the Edge of Destruction, which has 2 episodes. And then there's Marco Polo, who has 7 episodes, which all are missing. Ugh. And then we have the Keys of Marinus, which has 6 episodes, but 4 and 5 of it are missing. And after that is the Aztecs, which are 4 episodes. And then we're on to the Censorites, which has 6 episodes. And then the last episode of season 1 is The Reign of Terror with 6 episodes. After that, it's season 2. And there's the Planet of Giants, which has 3 episodes. And then Susan's final episode is The Dalek Invasion of Earth with 6 episodes. But her special appearances, which she appears later on throughout other Doctors for generations, starts with the 5 Doctors. And then after that, it's The Name of the Doctor, with a special cameo appearance. To follow up with the episode The Name of the Doctor, Carole Ann Ford didn't really reprise her role as Susan to complete that. What happened was it was retconned of Susan in The Name of the Doctor. So when Clara goes back and it shows flashbacks of her going throughout the Doctor's timeline, you end up seeing her come across the First Doctor and Susan, and you just hear her say, "Oh, grandfather," like something like that. And that's the part where she appears.
Doctor?
Yes? What is it? What do you want?
Sorry, but you're about to make a very big mistake.
Wait, how the hell is that a cameo? Because you just see the back of her head. That could be anybody else. Does that really count? I call bullshit.
Technically, it actually counts because it's still Susan. It doesn't matter who's playing her. It still technically counts because it's still meant to be Susan.
Well, boo-hoo. She appears in New Who.
Yeah, but that's her only special appearance. You could also count that one episode with Capaldi's era where he has a picture of Susan on his desk. That counts too, but we're not going to get political about it.
At least they're giving Carole Ann Ford some love.
Yeah. She also appears in the charity special episode called Dimensions in Time, which isn't that well known. But it pretty much counts because she plays Susan, and yeah, but primarily the main super duper special appearance for Susan is the 5 Doctors.
Oh, it's no good. I shall have to rest.
Oh, yes, of course, Grandfather.
Oh.
I'll just go and take another look.
Yes. Yes.
Look, come and see.
What? Goodness me! The TARDIS!
What's it doing here?
I suggest we go and find out.
And of course, you know what I'm going to say.
She appears in numerous Big Finish audios.
Exactly. So in the fandom, and well, to maybe some of the actors, like the actress of Susan herself, Susan can come off as being that one teenage character who's always going, "Grandfather!" all the time, and screaming at stuff. But I want to get into more detail about Susan and her personality. And I shall. So Susan loved her grandfather as he did her. And she was very fond of the 20th century England. So she enrolled in school there. Despite the doctor's warnings, she still endangered their secrets. Susan understood contemporary technology and was familiar with historical events, but knew very little about ordinary things. Like money, for example. I feel you, girl. Despite these gaps, however, she was still very intelligent, and to the extent that teacher Ian suspected that she was not only smarter than him, but she was holding back on her knowledge so that her teachers didn't feel stupid. Her sheltered life on Gallifrey resulted in her being quick to show fear, either by screaming or calling out her grandfather. She quickly befriended Ian and Barbara, who were her school teachers, but she did not accept their claims about that the doctor had intentionally damaged his own TARDIS. In one of the episodes, at least. On 22nd century Earth, Susan developed a relationship with David Campbell. And the doctor recognized this and decided it was best to leave her behind so that she could live a normal life. Susan was reluctant, but the doctor seemed to convince her it was for the best. And that's what ends up happening to Susan.
Grandfather!
Listen, Susan, please. I've double-locked the doors. You can't get in. Now move back, child, where I can see you. During all the years, I've been taking care of you. You, in return, have been taking care of me.
Grandfather, I belong with you.
Not any longer, Susan. You're still my grandchild, and always will be. But now, you're a woman, too. I want you to belong somewhere, to have roots of your own. With David, you'll be able to find those roots, and live normally like any woman should do. Believe me, my dear, your future lies with David, and not with a silly old buffer like me. One day, I shall come back. Yes, I shall come back. Until then, there must be no regrets, no tears, no anxieties. Just go forward in all your beliefs and prove to me that I am not mistaken in mine. Goodbye, Susan. Goodbye, my dear.
So, let me get this straight. If she's related to the first Doctor, doesn't that make her a time lady? Theoretically?
Technically, yes. At the time, they didn't call her Time Lady. And roughly around this time, too, the Doctor wasn't even known as the Time Lord yet. They came up with that around the second Doctor's era, actually. So, when you put it that way, technically she is, like, the first Time Lady to appear. But she wasn't the first one to be called the Time Lady on screen until Romana came into play. History, I know, it's really weird.
So where the fuck is this bitch nowadays? If she can regenerate all throughout the frickin' Doctor's run, and yet she's only in the first Doctor, where the fuck is she?
Good question. Let's see. A good majority of it revolves around her being married to David Campbell and having a child with him. A son, actually. And that's pretty much it. I mean, she reunites with the Doctor every now and then in his different regenerations. But there's not much to it. That's just pretty much it. I mean, she's out living a normal life in the universe and doing her own thing. If you look to the new Who standards, they keep saying that, oh yeah, the rest of the Doctor's family isn't alive. They're presumed to be dead. It depends on which side of the canon you want to follow. Like, is she dead? Is she still out there? Is she married? What is she doing? It just depends on what you want to follow.
She's a mystery bitch.
Yeah, you could say that. Being the first companion and the first one to depart, she's a mystery. As always, when I look up character trivia, I find this to be the most interesting part. Okay, so in reality, for Susan, this character was originally to have been a princess saved from a planet, which wasn't the same world as that the Doctor came from. Yeah, just wait, it gets weirder. Thereafter, she was envisioned as a fugitive from the Doctor's home planet. It was Anthony Coburn who altered the character so that Susan became the Doctor's granddaughter, instead of being a biologically unrelated female teenager traveling with an older man. No televised episode has ever explored Susan's origins. The unbroadcast pilot episode, yes, there actually is one, features a line of dialogue in which Susan states that she is from the 49th century. However, the final televised version, broadcast as the first episode, An Unearthly Child, contains no such reference. The contradicting stories regarding Susan's origins predate the BBC Wales version of Doctor Who. The 2005 version establishes the fact that the Doctor had a family on Gallifrey, though never explicitly states that Susan was in all likelihood his biological granddaughter. As of February 2018, there's never been an indication given in any TV episode to suggest otherwise. So pretty much, when they brought Doctor Who back in 2005, they said that, the Doctor had other family on Gallifrey, the little hints they give, but they never really fully establish or finish with. I have family, they're lost, they're dead, they died in the Time War, stuff like that. But they never follow through with it. Even that one example being the Doctor's brother. You know what I'm talking about. Susan's name would have originally been Suzanne if they were to stick with the idea of her being an alien princess. Other names considered were Biddy, Mandy, Sue, Gay, Jill, Janet, and Jan. According to the brief encounter story, Roses, Susan's real name is the Gallifreyan word for rose. This allows a subtle connection between the first companion of 1963 and 2005 version of Doctor Who. David Whittaker chose to change the character's name to Susan English for his novelizations, though it's unclear why he did so. The later unofficial novel companion reinstate this use in tribute, but all other novelizations and original novels have used the name Susan Foreman. Carole Ann Ford's hairstyle as Susan was created by famed stylist Vidal Sassoon. Susan is one of 3 classic series companions to appear in the 50th anniversary trailer. Way to go, girl. So now on to trivia about Carole Ann Ford, who played Susan herself. And this one's actually very interesting and a bit sad, really. So, Ford has stated that little background information on Susan's character or history was provided to her by the production team. And so to inform her performance, she would often discuss and invent ideas about Susan with her co-star William Hartnell. and they were really close together. They were really good friends, and she was actually sad about his death. They established that the Doctor had done something to annoy the other Time Lords that had caused his and Susan's exile. Ford also points out that suggestions that Susan was not the Doctor's natural granddaughter were put forward in the 1990s. However, in 2013, she revealed that the producers had initially insisted that Susan did not refer to the Doctor as her grandfather in the 5 Doctor special. She recalled, they said, we don't really want people to perceive him as having had sex with someone to father a child. Producers. And she just screamed with hysterical laughter and said, well, in that case, I'm not doing it. So that's why the script has changed for the 5 Doctors to include the characters' relationship together, and she became a part of it. Interesting. Carole Ann Ford also had some other issues with her character as Susan. So, media historian James Chapman has written that the way Susan was written made her limited, because she was required to fill the role of the screamer and often had little to do beyond looking pretty and frightened. I feel you, girl. Ford was similarly displeased with her character, sometimes finding her pathetic and frustrating because she was not allowed to develop. Hence why Carole Ann Ford ended up calling it quits with Susan. Carole Ann Ford, however, felt that Susan was allowed to develop more in the Big Finish audios, so definitely want to check those out. She was originally 23 when she first started playing Susan, who was meant to be a 15-year-old. Carole Ann Ford is currently teaching voice, presentation skills, and dialogue coaching to politicians, businessmen, after-dinner speakers, and actors. Pretty cool. She's also very active in the Doctor Who community, showing up in many different Doctor Who things besides conventions. She also makes special appearances in, obviously, Big Finish audios, many other Doctor Who things, many events, and she is still shining. She's awesome. So this one's interesting that I found out. She's also older than Peter Davison, Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy, Paul McGannon, Christopher Eccleston, and Peter Capaldi, almost twice the age of David Tennant, and more than twice the age of Matt Smith and Jodie Whittaker, all of whom play her on-screen grandparent. As for my personal opinion on Susan, I have to agree with Carole Ann Ford here. I liked Susan at first. She seemed like she had the potential to be a really cool character. She's related to the Doctor, who's a mysterious person himself. They're both people from a different planet and a different time. And I liked Carole Ann Ford. She was awesome. And I could understand why she got frustrated from her character not being able to develop. That's really hard on an actress and an actor in general. And Susan could have gone to greater heights. I mean, she was already freaking smarter than her teachers. And that girl could go so long, like, so far. And I hate to say it, but during the 60s, the girls were repressed to a certain role. And I feel that's what happened to Carole Ann Ford and Susan. They were repressed to a role of being the screamer, like all girls in classic Who, let's be honest. And she could have been so much more. So, yeah.
But the producers are trying to say that she's not Doctor Who's granddaughter.
Which is kind of stupid, honestly, because I know it was meant to originally be a children's TV show, but there's nothing wrong with saying that that's my granddaughter.
But if it isn't, who fucked to make her? Seriously.
Now, technically, if you look in some novels and maybe some audios, it's kind of not so clear. But they say that she was somehow, I guess, related to Omega and this person called Patience that he married. And something with that made him the granddaughter, and then, I don't know, something like that. It's so confusing.
You want to know what I think? I think the Doctor really knows how to handle his sonic screwdriver a little better. That first Doctor, he actually does have a sonic screwdriver, and he used it on some bitch out there, and that bitch produced a Susan somewhere.
But to be quite honest, I actually think that having the mystery of how is Susan the Doctor's granddaughter is a good thing to keep as a mystery. Because if you reveal too much, it loses the mystery of the character. And that's what makes it Doctor Who. Is the mystery of these people are related. And that's awesome, but how are they related? We'll never know, but I would like to keep it a mystery. I mean, I guess there's some novels out there or whatever that explore it in their own little ways. But I think keeping it a mystery is a good place to keep it, because you could actually develop a character from there. Susan needs it. She needs development. She didn't get it, and I feel bad for Carole Ann Ford, who didn't get to have that. She probably would have stayed longer on the show instead of leaving after 2 episodes in season 2. So I doubt we would probably get this. But if they ever do plan to bring Susan back, I would love to see Carole Ann Ford come back as her in some way, you know? Because, I mean, while we still have her alive, it'd be awesome to do. And it would be a true tribute. And something fun to explore, too. You know?
Yeah, I agree. But if you ever wonder why the first Doctor does not have a sonic, because he used that sonic on some woman out there, and they made Susan a reality. Remember that, kiddies.
What kind of crack are you on? Thank you for watching. If you've liked this video, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more content. And as you can tell from our background, obviously we're in a new location because we were busy moving out of our old one.
It sucked. Fuck those upstairs neighbors.
Yeah, neighbors suck. Anyway, we will be more active on videos now, and even be introducing some new content to the channel as well. So be sure to be watching.
Happy New Year. Happy 2020. Let's hope Doctor Who's season 12 doesn't suck.
Well, that's a discussion for some other time. And as for the next companion we will be covering in history of Doctor Who companions, Master, it's K9!
Fuck yes!
He's been waiting for this!
Woo!
See you next time!
Fuck yes!